Another attempt made at redrawing Kajru's T-circle model is that of Janos. Jano in 2001 had proposed his modification of Kajru's model. According to Jano, there is a change in the context of use in English. Many varieties of English which are used in the outer circle countries have now become established varieties, and the users of these varieties of English in the outer circle countries claim that their competence is equal to that of the native speakers and that they have native speakers' intuition in the use of English. Similarly, many people who live in the inner circle countries, especially the immigrants who live in the inner circle countries, use English as an L2 because it is not their first language. So the context of use of English is changing in both L1 countries and L2 countries. In L1 countries, many residents of the L1 countries who have been living in the country for a long time but are immigrants have another L1, and they use English as an L2, and the people who live in the outer circle countries who use English as their second language claim that they have native-like proficiency in the language, or that their English is no less than that of native speakers. So because of all these facts, because of this change in the context of use, Jano has presented this modification. According to Jano, we can redefine the circles as the inner circle as the circle of people or comprising people who are genetic English as a native language user. So we have genetic ENL, that is genetic English as a native language speakers, and then the outer circle comprises people who use functional ENL, that is English as a native language. So he defines the speakers of English in both the circles as native speakers of English, with this distinction only that those who live in the inner circle countries are genetic ENL users, and those who live in the outer circle countries are functional ENL users. According to Jano's modification, the borders between the inner circle and outer circle are becoming very fuzzy day by day. He has pointed out the insignificance of the division between inner circle and outer circle countries by using a dotted line between the two classifications of Kajru's model. So the inner circle countries are the countries where ENL is used by people who are genetically native English language speakers. In the outer circle countries, English as a native language has a functional status. And according to this modification, this division between the genetic ENL and functional ENL is becoming more and more less insignificant day by day. This modification is also not without its problems. One problem is that the term genetic may be misunderstood and misinterpreted. It may be considered that the genetic ENL division is trying to perpetuate actually this native superiority, and again, by calling them native English speakers, genetically we are giving them a higher position than those who use English as a native language for functional reasons. Also, there is a wide gap in the proficiency levels in the outer circle countries. For example, in the outer circle countries, which at large are countries where English is used as a second language and English has the status of an official language, not all speakers of English have the same degree of proficiency. So somebody who has a low level of proficiency in English, assigning the level or the label of native English speaker to somebody who uses a substandard English is not really acceptable by people and does not seem very right either.